Hey everyone, Tom here, Battle Rap Resume. This is the sort of day after. Feeling pretty weary because it was a fucking incredible event yesterday. Obviously got to start off by just saying huge thanks to all of the team, to Danny, to Ryan, to Bagnall Filming, to Kate, everyone involved. It was awesome. It was fucking brilliant to get through, and I'm just going to give some quick thoughts. Certain things that I picked up on. I recorded tons of interviews. I also want to thank Nathan Jones as well. Really excited for you guys to see all of these. I think we did about like 27, 28 interviews. 27 used to be the byword in Don't Flop, but now it's going to be 71. Maybe you'll realise that already. Check out the pay-per-view if that's out already as well. I'm sure that'll be out very soon. The link will be in the description. But yeah, going to go through the event. Go through the battles, sort of the BRR take on it. Obviously more in-depth stuff will be on the channel for these interviews, but this is just sort of what I can remember. But yeah, just before we do, follow us at Battle Resume on the Twitter. Subscribe as well. Leave a comment. We've got the Patreon. If you want to support us as well, you want to give back. And yeah, I guess I just want to start off by saying thanks to everyone that shouted out the show when I was there. Obviously got mentioned in a few battles, which I'll get to, which is always really meta and weird for me to see. But just people who came up and said, hey, loads of people that I always tend to see at events and stuff, and it's always great to catch up. So yeah, it began. These events begin quite early, really, which I really like. There is a, dare I say, sense of professionalism about the thing, a sense of punctuality, which is quite refreshing. So yeah, I think it was about 11:30. Most people, including myself, got there. I originally, it was nice. You just go to these events, and I saw Nathan there. Obviously, my right-hand man, my camera guy, Nathan was incredible yesterday. All the videos we shot. Again, thanks to him. And Combat Curve as well, and then LSD, and then we're just sort of hanging out. It's just fun before the battles. Just discuss what's going to go down. Obviously, anticipation for this event particularly had been real. I remember when I was on the coach before, and I was like, it's actually here. Like, this is, I don't know. It seems like something we've been waiting on for a long while. Maybe it has a sort of metaphysical aspect to it as well. But anyway, get to the venue. It's Fiddler's Elbow. It's an incredible place. Like, I spoke to Pete Cashmore actually at the event, and going to have him back on the show. We're going to do his idea for an episode, which I think is great. Top 10 Fiddler's Elbow battles. So obviously we can go anything from, your Shuffle and your Soweto to your Shocks and your Tony to your 142 Soliloquy. Whatever they are, we're going to get them covered. But yeah, got into the venue. There was a crowd there. Obviously I was at Next in Line too. I don't know, maybe did anyone else feel this? It didn't feel as crowded as, maybe it's my imagination because I know it was sold out. So, but at the beginning, there wasn't as much of a crowd. That's not to say there was a paucity there. It was probably better than anything Sunburn 3 had done. But, it was still a little bit, kind of disconcerting, but not in a major way. You go in there, you get your armband, you see the fucking Next in Line tees on there, you see everyone, it's just brilliant. And we kicked off with a battle that, I judged. I was a judge on this battle. Danny Ashford, shout out to Danny for asking me to judge this. This was an interesting one. This was John Whitmore. I always call him John Whitmore. Sherpa. Sherpa is his battle name. Versus Milky, also known as Milky Bar Kid. And yeah, they went at it. Obviously, it was kind of long awaited, particularly in Sherpa's part, because he was meant to battle Pete Cashmore, which unfortunately didn't go down at the previous Next in Line. And yeah, John did well, I thought. He can sometimes get a little bit too caught up in his multis, to be honest with you. Like, it's impressive what he can conjure, but often it's slightly too elongated within the round to be outwardly effective for me. Milky was decent. It's interesting that the dub scandal migration, sociologically for battle rap, it was intriguing to see what would happen. Obviously, the league has been popping, no doubt, but within a hermetically sealed chamber, which is like any league, really. So it's kind of always interesting when you get a swarm of, talent coming across there. And, Milky, I felt he had a delivery, but the writing wasn't really there for me. I thought the battle altogether was, fine. It didn't seem to operate on any sort of deep, visceral level for me. But, it got reaction. It set a tone to a certain extent. I did give it to John. Sherpa, I'm always going to miscall him John, but Milky won 2-1, which is fair as well. I think that's a fair decision. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what the other judges said and stuff like that, and interested to see what people make of it. But altogether, an okay battle. We then had LSD, who I told him at the event, he's the best looking tryout 3 years in a row now. Shout out LSD versus Mr. Quinney. Very excited about Mr. Quinney because he was like an entry, don't flop thing. Someone that just emailed in, someone that Danny thought had talent, and I don't know, he was okay. Like, he held his own. He definitely wasn't, you know, untested, it seemed. You know, he had some confidence there in his delivery. Questionable second round in terms of content, and just nothing especially witty that I think was really playing for myself. Yeah, Mr. Quinney also, I should say, in his first, he had this very tired idea, doing a whole Family Guy scheme round, essentially a whole round. I think it closed his first, if I remember correctly, referencing things quite blatantly. You're like this guy from blah blah Herbert or whatever. You know, first of all, fuck Family Guy. Personally, sorry if I'm offending any Battle Resume listeners or anything like that, but I think it's trash. Like, I'm really not a fan of it, and that doesn't matter. That shouldn't colour my appreciation of a reference. But just to, even if he did, you know, a season 2 Wire round, well, mate, that would actually be sick. But you know what I'm getting at? Like, you know, it just was a bit sort of, come on, mate. Like, this is a huge opportunity, and you're just kind of squandering on like the poppiest of pop culture references. It didn't really work there for me. LS Dean did what he did. Again, it's for me, it's the lack of attack. It's the lack of sort of crescendo with a lot of his stuff. The details are always excellent, and I like the fact that he loves to make, you know, the obscure references and just go those places, because, you know, you have to. Definitely, if that's your sort of bag. But yeah, again, I don't know. You know, it was an okay battle. Like, it was a fine battle. It was a 2-rounder. You know, and it kind of moved us forward. At this point, you know, everyone was there. It was so fucking cool to see, you know, E. Farrell in the building, and Tony, and obviously everyone is there to enjoy themselves. And I had anticipated a slightly funeral, you know, not dour, but you know, a sense of kind of, well, coming to a close. Like, this is officially, you know, the last. I know it's Training Day, it's not Don't Flop, but on that sort of spectrum there, maybe. Who knows? Various rumblings that I heard at the event suggest otherwise, including Code Red, which smartly Danny, you know, and the team used this Dixie line as a way to promote, you know, stuff going forward, and they did that in a few smart ways that we'll get to in a second. But yeah, I think around this time, my sort of timeline's a bit screwed up, but you may have seen also on YouTube that they've announced that their first battle is going to be C Major versus Tony D. I mean, I actually spoke to Tony at the event, and we were speaking about, we got this video on cam, and he was just basically saying that, you know, C's one of those, like, you know, for Tony it's Soul, for Tony it's Saurus. You know, Tony's putting such high stock in who he's facing, and why shouldn't he? He's one of the greatest ever, no doubt about it. So for him to verse C coming back, I mean, look, it's getting to the point of ad nauseum that we're repeating on Battle Resume how fucking dope 10,000 Hours is. Definitely go listen to that as well. C is someone that I admire massively, so that is such a crazy battle. And next up, I mean, obviously we went outside, filmed loads of interviews. I need to remember the order of them all. I'll stop going on the interviews. Let's talk about the battles themselves. Then we had, I think, Heretic and E. Farrell was going down, because Heretic had to leave for a gig, which is incredible. Apparently, he did well as well. I mean, shout out to him for doing a battle and then going over to a gig, you know, across the country as well. Like, very, very impressive. This is a fucking great battle. Like, you know, obviously someone like Heretic relishes an opponent like E. Farrell, and I really felt he came sharp here. Like, you know, Heretic's performance is so impressive to me when I see it in person. Like, you know, it's so polished, but so alive, so natural. And E. Farrell is kind of the flip side of that, you know, kind of ragtag, but gloriously so. Really got an explosive character that was crazy to see, and he was getting like insane reaction as well, like as he's due. But like so many E. Farrell, obviously I've had E. Farrell on the show a few times, shout out to E. Farrell. You know, a lot of his battles, I've watched his earlier battles, are just in kind of nothing iBattle clubs, like shout out to iBattle as well. But you know what I mean, like here, to see him getting a real, like, we as a Don't Flop audience appreciate the way he punches, I think, you know, to a huge extent. And this was a dope fucking clash. Yeah, really, really good showing from them. And it was good to have this early on in the day as well, you know, because of Heretic, but naturally it seemed to occur in sort of the momentum going forward. Then I think we had Frost DARPA, which this was a good battle. Enjoyed this battle a lot. I think Frost in particular has quite a refreshing, you know, forward-thinking persona, kind of swaggered out, if I can say that unironically, in 2017. But yeah, I really, you know, he does talk about himself a lot, which he says in his rounds, but that's his style, kind of a wizard-esque, kind of domineering sort of style to that romp. And this is a good battle. DARPA I like as well. I think he's got a lot of technique, a lot of presence. I think I may have missed half this battle, but I do remember, seeing them both. Obviously, I spoke to them both afterwards as well. It's great speaking to them. When I spoke to DARPA, I asked him if his name came from the Metal Gear Solid, and I think he didn't really know what I meant. And I realized it was Daniel Harper. Is that right? It's DARPA. Okay, so I was just DARPA chief, reading too much into that. But yeah, that, you know, a fun battle from them, definitely. You know, that was one that I remember, you know, being enjoyed and impressing. Also, great to see Terminal battling. Terminal probably got the biggest reaction in terms of a tryout on this card, rightly so, is battling Deviant. got huge respect for Terminal. I'm sure a lot of people who are aware of him, this guy is, heavily slept on. Shout out Adam. He battled, he had some great battles, especially the battle against Hulk as well. I thought it was a really good performance from him. Battle against Sonny, he did great, and that sort of layered style that he brought, I think, the crowd lapped up. They did so well, and he did so well in that environment as well. Deviant was fun. Deviant, again, I don't think he kind of punched as hard as him, really, and, it wasn't quite a competition as so much, but, it was very impressive from what they did here. And Terminal just comes with slightly obscure punchlines, but it's always good stuff. Really kind of well constructed. I thought Terminal was a real refreshing kind of thing to see there. And Deviant was decent, but altogether I think Terminal took that quite convincingly. We then had Podge Dwyer versus Domsky 1. Domsky 1 unfortunately choked in both rounds and just didn't. I don't know, the momentum was lost. Like, kind of his style needs to kind of anchor like a pendulum, and swing forward and back, and just kind of, unfortunately, his kind of messing up kind of messed it up. He has a habit of sort of, sometimes the punchlines are a little bit, kind of obvious, but I like his setup, I like his demeanor. I think this was a good matchup, but I mean, Podge went on for a little too long, but I think he had the character to win. He went with it. He was coasting momentum, and he just kind of had a bit more of a persona. It's a little bit of a shame that this battle didn't pop up as much. I thought Podge especially showed some major potential. He did well in front of the crowd. Him and Terminal, I mean, so awesome again. What a double team. But it was I got quoted on the battlerapp.com Twitter, which Bear Solutions was heading up. There's no winners here, it quotes me. Apparently I said that on Podge versus Domsky 1. So, yeah, there wasn't quite really, again, I'm not trying to be harsh. If I'm being an honest critic, I don't think the bottom half of this card was like uniformly great. As I think maybe it's rose-tinted goggles. Am I being cynical? Comment below. Obviously, this was an incredible event, don't get me wrong. I'm going to get on some crazy battles. Command card versus Manic, probably not I mean, Command won. I love Command. Shout out to Command, man. He's a really good dude, and it just, I don't know. What was the other guy? Manic, awful. Yeah, not good. I just very sort of I think he acknowledged how played out his material was early on, and it's kind of like, oh, well, this isn't what I'm here for. And Command's had everyone shouting, who the fuck is this guy? He sort of played it well, and it wasn't for me. I mean, give this a chance. I remember Command versus Herb D at UKBL, and they still going? UKBL, their Manchester Bloodline. He was good in that. I mean, he was good in this. I think he needs to be given a bit of a better opponent, really. And I don't think, the other dude was so good. You're so ugly, no girl in the world fancies you. This is again Bear Solutions on Twitter. Oh wow, did you get a 4-year-old to ghostwrite your bars? So yeah, I don't remember that bar. I regret reading that now. And Command won that. But we get into the masterpieces of this card, which are many. The metric really is you want a couple of classic battles a card, don't you? Even one. And I think certainly in Frankie versus Bender, we get, what a triumph this was, really. Initially, just for this battle to go down was so cool. Just as a fan of Frankie, and to see this kind of, this dream to a certain extent. But also just as writers, just, to see these guys clashing. And, oh my God, it lived up to, Frankie was on fire. He was incredible. I thought his performance was outstanding, and just kind of, he anchored his stuff so well. I don't really want to give away too many bars. This is one you kind of want to research deep into, but Bender was excellent as well. The kind of small room environment, like a bunker, like a, writer's card RB. They're using that intimate environment to the advantage to the listenership. And yeah, this was a terrific battle. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that sort of Amy Winehouse punch from Frankie as well, which is just kind of, again, one of those kind of, how did I not think of that? But it's just the rhythm that he actually puts it through that I love as well. But yeah, this is a sensational battle. I've just seen online that the pay-per-view has gone online, so check into the description box. It'll be there. Buy it for this battle alone. This was a fucking great battle. Another great battle, Scoop versus Dialect. I should say at this point, you may notice we're sort of skipping the card slightly. We skipped Lazy Ass Jack versus JB, which unfortunately didn't go down. Personally, I was gutted, obviously, because I'm just a huge champion of Lazy. I think he's a great writer, and I wanted this opportunity for him. I had the guys on the show recently. JB was one of the latest Battle Resume episodes we had on, and I quite enjoyed that episode. And getting to know him a bit better, I was really excited to see what he would come up with for Lazy. And we had Lazy on the show to talk about this battle, so it's like we cheated at this promo. But yeah, from what I could hear, mostly from Lazy, I've read a bit online as well, it's all kind of saying the same thing. JB sort of didn't write anything, apparently. I mean, look, who knows? But yeah, he just sort of bailed on him on the last minute, and it's just, it just lacks grace, I suppose. It lacks sportsmanship, but like, I understand. I don't really. It's just, I wanted to see that. And I should say as well, that the battle, I think subsequently, maybe again, it was announced, it was Code Red champions. Obviously, Training Days, what is Training Days sort of thing. So Danny smartly, as we say, migrated that idea to Code Red. So Lazy Jack is now by default the Code Red champion. So interesting to see how that plays out. Also, Maverick versus Josiah Matrix. Yeah, Josiah was there, actually. He hadn't written a third, apparently, and has sort of said to Maverick, look, can we do this later? They're going to do it on that Code Red card, where they've got quite a lot. Obviously, Tony versus C is announced there, and we'll get to the final battle they announced for that as well. But yeah, that's going to go down then. Obviously disappointing, but from what I can tell, just everyone understands it, and, why shouldn't they? But yeah, it's just a shame. Just excited, like, certain part of me is like, man, maybe you should turn up, and if you haven't got your third, it's battle rap, you know what I mean? You got it, but then again, whatever, I don't know what goes on, but that's just me saying that as a fan. But yeah, that's going to go down, Code Red. And then we get to the top of the card, the two top battles. We had Dialect versus Scoop, which is a one-rounder. Dialect was incredible. Not only because he quoted me in the battle, which was amazing, no, but seriously, like, he just had sort of that experience, that versatility. Like, it's one of the first times I see Scoop getting, like, styled on, to be honest with you. I thought his writing was strong. Obviously, for Scoop, it's a bit more difficult. Dialect's just slotting into this battle, one rounder at a fairly short notice, but, prepping for that. But then Scoop's got the Yunnan bars, and it's just kind of, maybe that'd be the better battle, but obviously this didn't happen, and shout out to Scoop for wanting to, take part in this. So yeah, I mean, really entertaining from both sides. Obviously, I'm not going to say, like, it's a body or anything like that, but it's just kind of a really, like, tremendous performance from Dialect. The versatility that he demonstrates, the writing style, and just kind of the classic, like, real simple, real, sort of demonic haymakers, like the strength that he can conjure. Yeah, I thought this was a fantastic battle. And then finally, Gemini versus Shocks. Gemini, I doubted you. Gemini, I want to apologize directly to you. We obviously spoke about this after you came up to me, and you made me remember. Yeah, so obviously I said Shocks was going to win by a hair, but watching the battle play out, even from the first round, it felt like Gem was going to win. I felt silly. I felt like I hadn't really thought about how good of an angle smith, I don't know if that's a word, we're going to use it, how good an angle smith that Gem is. Like, just kind of the, the precise, undeniable truths that he comes with. Like, he took one of the most played out things in battle rap. You said this bar and someone else said it. Like, how many people have used that for whatever? He took that. He morphed it into like a 7-9 minute, really long first round, noticeably long first round, an impressive, like, declamation of a first round. And he talks about it. He talks about finding 71 bars in Shocks' oeuvre, which isn't that many battles, considering that's quite a lot of bars, that have been to, and he gives loads of examples. And just, it was the way he did it. It was the flair that he did it in. And, Shocks fought back. Shocks had some good stuff, but I don't know whether exceptional punching has a ceiling. Like, and I think we're sort of seeing what can counter that is kind of that, coupled with the angles that Gem, because obviously Gem was writing his ass off as well. Had some terrific stuff, and Shocks was fucking Shocks, man. He's fucking don't flop chat. He's one of the best ever. Like, shout out to Shocks, of course. I'm a giant Shocks fan, but I think everyone had Gem. We did a few interviews. I think I got loads of the King of Ronald's guys on one interview, which is a really good interview. And I think I said, like, who won that battle, and they all just went Gem. Like, it's like a uniform response there. So yeah, that's next in line too, man. It was fucking it was brilliant. Like, what an experience as well. I want to shout out to all the guys, everyone listening as well. Thank you so much. Please comment, buy this pay-per-view. Seriously, buy this pay-per-view. I'm not just saying this to whatever support I don't know what the hell the enterprise is now, but just get them. They're fucking great. They're really good. And if you disagree with my decisions as well, please let me know down below. Please subscribe on the Patreon. What do we have on there at the moment? Top 10 robberies. We're doing top 10 don't flop robberies. It's about an hour episodes on there. That was a lot of fun. Also gesticulations. I don't know if you used to follow my old Jess show, but me and Jonathan Rimmer reviewed Falling Down which is an incredible album, about 90 minutes. So we went long form on that. So check that out on the Patreon as well. Thank you to Don't Flop, to Training Days, to Danny, to Ryan, to everyone for, you know, making me feel welcome at the, not, you know what I mean, like making everyone feel welcome. You know, it's always a brilliant atmosphere. Thank you to everyone that I interviewed as well. Those will go on the Patreon first, and then I'll sort of release them day by day. But I've got fucking ton. I got like Frankie and Bender on there. Me and Tony have a really great chat. Shocks, of course, as well. I did some stuff for battlerapresume as well, with Velk. Shout out to Velk. It's good to meet you, man. So yeah, I mean, this has just been a quick recap. Let me know what you think down below. Pick up the pay-per-view as always. Thank you to everyone for listening to the show. Thank you again to Battle Rap, man. I mean, I don't know, it's just kind of the talking to people outside, the scene is morphing. Like, you know, it's kind of, this really felt like the end of an era. Maybe not. Maybe, you know, someone, I don't know, someone said something yesterday which I thought was kind of cool, where it's like, Are these events, are these leagues like UKPL, like Chalked Out, are they just going to throw next in line events? And I don't mean that disparaging. I mean like a small room with big names. I get, is that a next in line event? Is that just an? I'll let you mull on that. But no, the future's bright, regardless. And I would love it to be fucking next in line events always. But this is Tom. Thank you for listening to these rambles. They're pretty incoherent, but I appreciate the patience. Yeah, at Battle Resume. See you later.